welcome to Joe in the studio. Our first episode off the patio, finally, which is great because I hate being outside. So this whole time has like been being in hell for me. So it's nice to finally be comfortable for once. My guest,
Kai Adams,
Mr. Kai Adams
Brewing Company.
from Sebago Brewing, because this whole time we've been drinking Sebago, so now the man himself is here to drink it with us. Welcome. Yeah. This is the Ned Ryerson. You want to tell us about this? Cheers, by the way.
Big hop nose. This is a rye IPA brewed with tons and tons of stanky hops, says Rusty the brewer. We're really excited about it. We brewed 20 barrels, but it ended up being 12 because there's so many hops in it.
When exactly did Sebago start?
98.
So 98. I mean, the transition has been pretty amazing, just from starting even the locations here, to the new location and Gorham and just the expansion and
the old Richetta's in Kennebunk.
Oh,
50-foot brick oven in there. It's unbelievable. You got to get in there.
I haven't been there. That's awesome.
It's a similar Sebago experience, but the oven, it's huge. And we don't utilize it the way Richetta's used to, but we make some great flatbreads. We cook some like Reubens in there and corned beef and do some nice specials in it.
But it's well seasoned anyway, right?
Yeah, so it's nice. It's a really nice tool to have. But with the rebrand and the refocus on a lot of different beers, our seasonals changed around. We're kind of the old breweries. We're one of the old breweries, and
which is a point I want to touch on.
We're trying to make a big step because we're an older brewery, but we have skill, we have good resource, we have great talent, and great palates and access to different great ingredients. So we're able to make a ton of different beers. So in the past 8 weeks, we've made like 12 different beers. That's a lot, and it's really hard to juggle it through distribution and at the brew pubs. So it's really
is the main operation still in Gorham? Out in Gorham?
Yeah,
okay.
at the brewery. By the old distributor.
Yep.
And we actually took that building over, and that's our warehousing and barrel aging, and our some Tim's office and some HR marketing office. But the rest of it's cold storage. So we've expanded that. But all the beers are brewed at that one brewing location, and then we distribute them out to the pubs.
Now, that being said, how big do you want to get? I mean, what is your ideal, and what do you picture being the ideal size for your company before you're kind of like, all right, in order for quality control or where's the kind of ceiling there for you?
So we're at about 7,000 barrels, and we've steadily grown between 12 and 18% for every year. Where do we want to end up? I want to end up with a place, we always want to be more than last year, because with growth adds opportunity within the brewery, whether it's a new project, where it's a new employee, whether it's a new piece of equipment. And in the beer business, if you aren't growing, you're dying.
True.
Same way, I guess, with any beverage.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that brand's not working on this one. But for where do I want to be? I want to be readily available at most great places where you find beer in New England. I think Philly has a good beer area, but we're not there yet. We're as far south as Connecticut, and as further away that you go away, the more challenging it is. Just the shipping, the quality control,
exactly.
The brand recognition.
Just where the question, I was just curious as to how far you wanted to go.
Our biggest growth has been in New Hampshire, and it's taken a couple of years to really get there, but we have a great partnership with a wholesaler there. It's just really doing very well. And Maine, always, with Nappy and Pine State, they do great. And the awareness of beer that people in Maine and New England have, awareness about beer that they have and their palate it's so amazing.
And that being said, I mean, as you said earlier, you were in that sort of first wave of brewers in the 90s. At the end of the 90s, but still in that sort of
it was the trough.
Right, it was like at the end. I mean, it was like slightly after the Gritty's, Shipyard, Geary's, Castle Bay, Allagash, exactly.
Andrews.
Yes, Andrews. Yeah, but then even the other ones like Katahdin, like back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about there's sort of been a second renaissance of sorts that I've actually I've talked about a lot, but I mean, what's your take on the new wave of brewers and how the old are kind of, not necessarily old, but how the working on ones that are integrating and staying relevant with
Yeah.
all the new brewers?
Well, yesterday I'm on the board of the Maine Brewers Guild, and I am very passionate about Maine beer, and I'm embracing other brewers. I think it's very important because you can learn so much. So yesterday was the freshman orientation for the Maine Brewers Guild at Coffee by Design. And there was 12 new breweries that opened up last year, and we went through these classes.
12 in Maine.
12
that opened last year.
in Maine that opened between beer weeks. That was the kind of the cutoff.
That's a lot of
It's a
breweries.
ton. We're going to be, when Orono Brewing opens, we'll be at 60.
Wow.
And when we started, there were 18. So there was all these stations, and we had groups of 10 people that went around to these stations, and the brewers told their story. We tasted their beer, and it was for me, it was fantastic. I had this token question. I asked them, what was the most challenging part about opening, and how'd you overcome it? But to see how excited and passionate every one of these brewers were about their brewery and about the prospect of being a Maine brewer, it was really, for me, it was really exciting because I remember feeling that way and being so excited. And 4 of the dozen have already stepped forward into building their production to 10 or 15 barrel breweries. And only about half are considering whether to self-distribute or to pick up a wholesaler.
Yep.
So that's very, very interesting piece. And and last week we were up in Bangor. It was Heather and I and Joel from Foundation, part of the board of the Maine Brewers Guild. We went up to Bangor.
To Turnham or?
Yeah. Well, we actually went to Gagan's.
Yep.
And we had all these northern Maine brewers that can't really get to all the events that the Brewers Guild kind of puts on. And again, it was to see all these people so excited. It was a whole new prospect. And they look towards me. I don't feel like the old guy, but they have questions, and it's really, really neat to see that evolution and that growth. So what do I think about it? I think it's great for craft beer. I think it's great for Maine beer, and it's fun to taste all these new beers and get to know them.